Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Reed, vocal coach. In this video I want to talk a little bit about the overview of the difference between belting and mixing. And the reason that I'm putting this video together is because I recorded a really similar piece of content probably about 10 years ago when I used to run my studio in London. And at the time it was like one of the most popular videos that I posted because there are loads of questions around it. So let's get into it a little bit and talk about what these two things are. Okay, so to start the conversation off, let's think about what belting is. Belting is a strong kind of calling sound. Most singing is a different sounds that we make anyway in nature. So I've always said to everybody that I've ever worked with that if you can laugh, if you can cheer, and if you can cry, you can pretty much sing in any style. They're natural vocal gestures. They're just behaviors that we use. So when you call out to someone, if you're trying to get their attention for something, hey! That calling, or cheering, yay, kind of behavior. That's basically what belting is. It's produced by high pressure in the breath. So that means we don't want to squeeze really hard for it because it's naturally got high pressure in it. Okay? So we don't want masses of work going on in the breathing. The breath is short. It's up in the chest, a little kind of light gasp. If you notice when you go to cheer, if you call out, hey! You don't take a huge breath for that, and you definitely don't squeeze your tummy for it because you're going to crack the sound, you're going to tire the voice. So it's got this natural high pressure energy in it, so we don't want to over pressurize the breath. It's got what we call thick vocal folds. That means the vocal cords or vocal folds themselves are coming together really strongly, so you're getting that kind of energy, that impact energy in the sound. And it's also got, and this is what it shares with mixing, a really bright resonance on something called the second formant. Doesn't matter too much, I'm not going to get into the details of the harmonics of it. But what we know about belting in terms of finding the acoustic is that if we've got a wider space at the front of the mouth and a narrower space at the back of the mouth, or at the back of the vocal tract, then we're getting this kind of acoustic boost that makes it sound brassy and kind of like it's going to ring out a little bit. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, belting will naturally have its own range. It will sit comfortably in your voice. It's normally in the lower register or chest voice or M1, depending what terminology you use. They're all the same thing. It normally sits in that lower space in the voice. So for most cis female presenting voices, the natural physiology of the voice will take you to about a B or a C, above middle C there, somewhere around that neck of the woods, for your chest voice, for that kind of thick fold belt. And for most cis male presenting voices, it will take you to about an F or a G below that, depending on your voice type, depending on your age, depending on your presentation and your gender identity, and so on and so on. Which means that it kind of has a ceiling. It doesn't, you can sometimes take it a little bit further, but you don't want to hyperextend your belt range because that's where you can start to get into slightly sticky territory with your technique and the longevity and health of your voice. So that's where mixing comes in. Now, the thing that mixing shares with belting is the acoustic property. So it has this raised second formant, this bright harmonic, which is created by the wider space at the front of the mouth, the narrower space in the back of the vocal tract, and this kind of bright, brassy energy. But the differences are that the breath pressure is lower and the vocal cords are thinner. And that allows the vocal folds or vocal cords to be stretchier, to allow them to get longer. The higher you sing, broadly speaking, the higher you sing, the longer and thinner your vocal cords need to be. And so if belting is produced on a thick fold, if the muscle is strong and short and thick, it can't get longer. So as a for example, if you put one arm up at 90 degrees like this and put your hand on your bicep, and now imagine that your bicep is stunt doubling for your vocal cord, as you get higher, the vocal cord is getting stretched and you feel the muscle getting longer and also thinner. Now when you're belting, if you muscle that up, if you create the biggest, strongest bicep you can, and now try and stretch whilst keeping that strong and thick, you can see why there's a problem there, why belting won't let you get higher because of the energy in the vocal fold muscle. So what you have to do is let go of a tiny bit of that energy so that you can get some stretch through it. So technically, what we find with mix is that it's normally got more twang. It's a thinner vocal fold and more twang. So some of the noises you can try for that, we did the cheering for the belting. I like to use Baby Cry as my go-to for mixing. Wah! kind of making that really light, thin, twangy noise. You can also use a kind of a gentle slide through your range. You can try using kind of annoying, teasing playground bully sound. But that twanginess is what gives it the oomph, it gives it that kind of zip in the acoustic. So that although you're moving into an upper register, into a head voice, into an M2, whatever terminology you use, you're still getting some of the strength through it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I really hope that's been a little bit helpful just to kind of give you some idea of the difference between the two. So belting, thick vocal folds, high breath pressure, and it's an energetic sound. Mixing, slightly thinner vocal cords, a lot more twang, and that creates that kind of zip in the sound. It's really important to say that it's slightly different feeling-wise for everybody. There's no such thing as one right way to do anything in singing, because it depends on your voice, on your circumstances, on your health, on all kinds of different things. So give it a bit of a try. Try playing around with the difference between that cheering belt and the baby cry twangy mix, and see if you play with it in some of your repertoire. Maybe tag me in a video or something if you've got anything that you've recorded and you want to kind of get some input on it, then do feel free to tag me. Give us a follow, give us a like, and also if you want to check out more about having online lessons, developing your voice a little bit further, finding out more about it, then head to www.jamie-reed.co.uk.